Chapter 21 Data and Operators. Variables. Stored information is useful and you get to reuse it while learning a program. Information can be stored using variables. Remember, Boolean value can only be either true or false. Variable hold the type of value, a number, string, text, Boolean, or list. Reporter blocks report out or deliver the current value of the variable they represent. They can store numbers and words as variable values. A reporter block is placed inside the parameter area of any other blocks. There are reporter blocks in every block's category except event and control. A reporter block is shaped like this. Variable. You can create a new variable by clicking on Make a Variable in the Variable category of the Blocks menu. After you make a new variable, a new reporter block with the variable name appears in the Blocks palette. There are two ways to change the value of a variable. 1. Set. 2. Block. Use to replace the current value with a new value. Change while. Block used to add to or subtract from the current value of the variable. For example, in a game you can create a variable called score and use the set score to 0 stock block to set the score variable to 0 when the game begins. You can also use the change score by 1 step block to increase in the score by 1 point every time the user scores a point during a game. You can access the variable of a score variable with a score reporter block. Set score to 0, change score by 1, score reporter block. The reporter block could be used to display the score on the stage or tell when a player has won the game based on point score. Built-in variable. Some reporter blocks have built-in variables that store data. The value of the variables can be used in programs. For example, the built-in variable called mouse X and mouse Y named the position of the X exit and Y exit of the viewer's mouse cursor on the stage. These values can be inserted into the parameters of the go to X, Y stock block to make the spirit go to the user's mouse location on the stage. Go to X, Y, mouse Y. User input. Some built-in variables store user input, the things user type in. We can ask for users to enter words or numbers by using the ask and wait stack type block found in the sensing category. The answer is stored in the answer reporter block. You can ask a user to enter their name, then use the say block to have the spirit tell the user hello with their name. When clicked, ask what's your name and wait, say join hello, answer reporter block, user input stored here. The ask and wait block make the speech bubble appear above the spirit and the text box appeared at the bottom of the stage. The script pauses until the user types an answer in the text box and presses enter on the keyboard. List. In Scratch, you can store multiple values in a single place with list. List blocks are used to set values and to use the data they store later in the program. For example, you could make a high score list called high score and use the add to stock block to add the names Indira, Leo, and Kemi. Add Indira to high score, add Leo to high score, add Kemi to high score. Create a new list by clicking on the Make List button in the Variable category of the Blocks menu. After creating a new list, this block will appear in the Blocks palette. My list, add things to my list, delete one of my list, delete all of my list, insert thing at one of my list, replace item one of my list, the thing, item one of my list, number, item number of thing in my list, length of my list contains thing, show list my list, hide list my list. List starts out empty. Use the editor blocks to add the names to the high score list. The list display shown on the stage will show that the three names have been added. The high score list. High score Indra, Leo, Kemi, rank 3. The placer item of with stock block is used to replace item on the list. In the first parameter, type the number of the index for the item to be replaced. To replace Kemi with Margaret, type 3. Because Kemi is third in the list. In the last parameter, type Margaret because that's the new value. Replace item 3 of the high score with Margaret. Other list block can be used to delete and insert new list item. Operators are used to perform calculate a value. There are two types of operator block, reporter and boolean. The reporter block are used to perform mathematical functions on value such as add, subtract, multiply, divide, round, and others. For example, you could make a split go to a location 50 steps above the user's cursor using an addition reporter block. Go to x mouse y plus 50. Boolean type operator blocks are used to evaluate statements as true or false. For example, we can use the block to determine if a player score is greater than 50. Score. Math blocks. In the operator category, there are reporter blocks with math operator until into them. Pick them 1 to 10, mode, round. Each block has one or two input field where you can insert number or variable. The value for each block is the solution to the math equation shown in the block. For example, if you wanted to subtract 6 minus 2, you would use the block. The value of this block is 4. You can use math with variables by inserting the reporter variables block into the input field of a math block. For example, to find out someone's age, you could set a variable birth year to the year someone was born, for example, 2005, and subtract that from the current year. 2020 minus birth year, name of variable, birth year value, 2005. Boolean block. Boolean block evaluate information to be true or false. They have a statement or math equation inside them that's either true or false. Example, 2 plus 2 equal 4. The equal Boolean block looks at both sides of the equal sign and decides if they are the same. The value of the Boolean block is true because 2 plus 2 equal 4. If the Boolean block has the equation 2 plus 1 equal 4, then the value of the block would be false. 2 plus 1 equal 4. Boolean block can also be used to compare words. For example, Marcos equal Marcos is true. Marcos equal Greg is false. Marcos equal Marcos true. Marcos equal Greg false. Be careful with the spaces. Space before or after which word compared must match. In the operator category, there are Boolean blocks for comparison and logical operator and or not. These blocks can be combined by nesting them within each other. For example, you could use an Boolean block to see if a variable score is greater than 10 and the timer is less than 200. To do this, insert and blocks inside the left and right input field of a block. Score bigger than 10 and timer lesser than 200. These blocks are nested within a Fahrenheit and Fahrenheit block. Nesting block means putting one or more blocks inside another block. In the sensing category, there are Boolean blocks that check the specific condition. If the condition is met, the block value is true, otherwise the value is false. For example, you could see the key pressed Boolean block to sense if the spacer on the keyboard is pressed, or you could use the touching color block to check if the split is touching a certain color. When these conditions are met, the block will have the value of true. Key, space, press, touching color. Blocks and their functions. Variable. The blocks in the variable category are used to store and change data as a single value variable or multiple value list by variable. Variable name refers to block that hold the value of the name variable. Set my variable to 0, set to the block set that set the value of the selected variable to a set number, string, or boolean. Change my variable by 1. Change by a stock block that changes the value of the selected variable by the set amount. Show variable my variable. Show variable. The stack block that will show the variable value in a little display window on the stage. Hide variable, my variable. Hide variable, a stock block that will hide the variable value display window on the stage. This block gives the user the ability to change a list of values. My list. This name. Report block that hold the values of the named list. Add thing to my list. Add to a thing block that add the set value to the end of the selected list. Delete one of my list. Delete of a stock block that deletes an item from the selected list. Delete all of my list. Delete all of a stack block that delete all items from the selected list. Insert thing at one of my list. Insert add a stock block that insert a value at the location in a selected list. Replace item 1 of my list with the thing. Replace item of with a stack block that replace the value in a location of a selected list. Item 1 of my list. Item a report block that hold the value of one item in the selected list. Item number of thing in my list. Item number of in a report block that hold the index number value of set value in a list. Length of my list. Length of a report block that hold the number of items in a selected list. My list contains things. A bulletin block asks if a selected list has the set value in it, if things on item in the list is true if it's, and false if it's not. Show list my list. Show list a static block that will show all the list value in a display window on the stage. Hide list my list. Hide list a static block that will hide the list value display window on the stage. The previous block gives the user the ability to change more than one value in a selected list. Operators. Block in the operators category are used to control data. Many of the default blocks are mathematical functions like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and more. Other blocks are used to change string value. String value, several symbols or values that are set in a row. A report block that holds the value of the addition equation. A report block that holds the value of the subtraction equation. A report block that holds the value of the multiplication equation. A report block that holds the value of the division equation. Pick random 1 to 10. Pick random to a report block that set the value into a random number between the two set values. A bulletin that evaluate true or false based on whether the value in the left field is greater than the value in the right field. A bulletin block that evaluates true or false based on whether the value on the left or right side of the mijkor sign are equivalent. The bulletin block the equivalent true or false stressed on whether both bulletin block inside are true. Bulletin block that evaluate true or false based on whether one or both bulletin blocks inside are true. A bulletin block that evaluates the opposite value of the value inside the parameter, so that a true parameter evaluates to false and a false to true. Join apple banana. A report block that join two values into one string. Letter 1 of apple. Letter. A report block that holds the value of the specific letter of a word. Length of apple. Length of. A support block that holds the value of the number of characters in a string. Apple contains A. A bulletin block that evaluates true or false based on whether the value on the left contains the letter on the right. Report block that holds the value of the and remainder of the first value divided by the second. Round. A report block that rounds the value to the nearest whole number. F's. Report block that hold the value of the selected mathematical operating using the same number value. For example, you could see this block to find the square root of a value. Sensing. Blocks in the sensing category are used to understand and store information about how the user interacts with the program. Touching, mouse pointer. Touching. A Boolean block that evaluates the true or false based on whether the spirit is touching the mouse pointer or another spirit. Touching color. Touching color, a bulletin block that evaluates the true or false based on whether the spirit is touching the selected color. Color is touching. Color is touching. A bulletin block that evaluates the true or false based on whether a selected color touches another selected color. Distance to mouse point. Distance to. A report block that holds the value of the distance between the spirit and the mouse pointer or another spirit. Ask, what's your name? And wait. Ask and what? And wait. A stop block that asks the user to answer a question using a text box and wait for the answer. Answer reporter block that holds the value of the user given value from the ask block. Key space, press, key press. A bulletin block that evaluates the true or false based on whether the selected key is pressed. Mouse down, mouse down. A bulletin block that evaluates the true or false based on whether the mouse bulletin is down. Mouse X. Mouse X. A reporter block that holds the value of the mouse location on the X exit. Mouse Y. Mouse Y. A reporter block that holds the value of the mouse location on the Y exit. Set drag mode, draggable. Set drag mode, a stack block that makes a split draggable or not draggable by the user. Loudness. Loudness. A reporter block that holds the value of the loudness from an attached microphone. Timer. A reporter block that holds the value of the timer that automatically starts when a program is run. Reset timer. Reset timer, a stack block that reset the timer to 0. Backdrop of stage. A reporter block that holds the value of the selected variable for the selected spirit or stage. Current year. Current. A reporter block that holds the value of the current year. Month, date, day of a week, hour, minute, or second. Day since 2000. Day since 2000, a report block that holds the value of the days since the day 2000. Username. reporter block that hold the value of the scratch username of the scratcher using the program.